Remember this place? About a week ago, we actually fought inside this very arena as we tried to claim victory to the Mythril Cup and prevent the Phantom Thief from taking the first place prize, which he chose to decline, but he chose to take the second place prize, which was what he was actually looking for. Yeah, if you remember who the Phantom Thief is, and you remember where we're standing, you know who we're about to give a hand to. So with that in mind, greetings people of the world, Matthew back with you here in Novara Autism for the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn. It is year 2, day 73 for EDSS in the Realm Reborn. And last time we completed the first part of the main story of patch 2.5, as Mumbreda, the Sharlayan scholar, offered to give of her life in order to defeat the Asir Nebrales, and help to rescue Lady Minfilia in the process. But now we are going to take some time away from that because that was the first half of patch 2.5. And so we're going to take care of the other thing that was introduced in the first half of patch 2.5 because we're back here in Sil'dih, and you know who we're going to give a hand to because you know where we're standing. It's time to once again speak with our good friend from the Mithril Eye, Ellie, and take on the first part of the last Hildebrand mystery. Starting with a challenge entitled Shades of Sil'dih, Ellie would share with you a shocking new turn in the Phantom Thief case. I was wondering when you would show up, Edie. I hope you haven't made any plans for the day because we've got a situation on our hands. Remember our good friend the Phantom Thief? Well, I wouldn't necessarily call him a good friend. Well, it seems he's decided to branch out from burglary to cold-blooded murder. Uh-oh. If the rumors are to be believed, he's claimed 3 victims already, all influential members of Sultan society. Mr. Many Faces has been kind enough to leave one of his signature calling cards at every scene, leaving no doubt as to the identity of the murderer. The message is always the same. The weight of 5 corpses will bring the scales of justice to balance. More riddles. Not that you'll hear me complaining, no. The only thing my readers like more than a good mystery is a good murder mystery. Ever since the story broke, the Mithril Eye's been selling like pound cakes. The only rub is that it's left me no time to look for the thief's last message, until now, that is. Shall we, Edie? Of course we shall. The hidden treasure of Sil'dih, was it? If there's anyone who could shed some light on this, it's you-know-who. The sun-silk tapestries. The fastest place to get access to that particular location is actually to go back to the Aetheryte Plaza here in Sil'dih. So let's make the quick warp over there, and then make our way across the street over to Sunsilk's Tapestries, because yeah, it's basically right across the street from where the Aetheryte Plaza is, here in Sil'dih. So, yeah, we're going to be speaking with our good monger of information, Mr. Wymond. Well now, if it ain't my favourite venturer, and my favourite Mithril Eye reporter along with them, tell me, what have I done to deserve the pleasure of your company today? Well, if you must know, I see. As much as I like to talk to 2 of my best mates, I'm afraid you found old Wyman at a loss. Sil'dih has far more than its fair share of treasures, hidden and otherwise. I reckon our phantom friend could be just after about any of them. I can tell you this much though, whatever the thief's got his eyes on, it's got the Sultan sworn in the right dither. Word has it that they formed a regiment of their best and brightest to safeguard the royal vaults from this very threat. The Sultan sworn aren't like to be forthcoming with information, but it's the only lead we've got. Come on, Edie, I'd say it's time we paid a visit to the heart of the swarm. Oi, hold up there, Ellie. I ain't generally the running type, but you may want to think twice before getting yourselves involved in this. What, you'd question the Warrior of Light's abilities? A man in my business develops a nose for danger, and this time the stench is something fierce. You're a reporter, Ellie, and a fine one at that. Don't put that pretty neck of yours at risk trying to play hero. Your concern is touching, but I can assure you that I am ready for whatever dangers lie ahead. Besides, being a reporter is about more than selling papers. I have a duty to seek out the truth and convey it to the people. Come, Edie, time is of the essence. Alright. So yeah, we want to head out to Scholar's Walk. That particular area is actually going to be over in that direction of the Hustings Strip. Now, exactly where, I do not quite remember. I think I have an inkling onto where specifically it is, but I need to be absolutely certain that the place I'm looking for is the place I'm trying to get to, and, why does it feel like the map is confusing me here? Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to use an aetherite. Yeah, the map was confusing me there for some reason. We need, I think, Square Enix needs to get that fixed. Alright, back over here. So yeah, we'll have to go over into the other side. Let's try... Hard to tell what would be a good starting point. I know that the Goldsmith's Guild is a little more centralized than a lot of other locations. Okay, so yeah, if we go this way, we should be able to get to where we're looking for. Yeah, I think if we go up the stairs, we'll get what we seek. Okay, yeah, it's actually over at the Alchemist's Guild. Yeah, I could have gone there instead. That's where I should have gone. Yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of trying to figure out where exactly you are going in order to advance further. But yeah, this is not a place I frequent, Scholar's Walk. It's quite a bit of ways out of the way, actually. But it's here where the Sultan's sworn elites are apparently going to be standing, so Mr. Humphrey appears to be leading the charge here, so nice to meet you, sir. Halt! Only authorized personnel are allowed in. That full bugger me with a broadsword is the gentleman of life's adventure and companion in that catty but cute reporter from the myth of lie. Well, if it isn't the self-styled warrior of light. Tell me, what tall tales did you spin to the Sultan's sworn recruiter to land yourself in this position? Yeah, this guy we actually brought to justice in the first Hildebrand mystery. Only the 12's honest truth, miss. Seeing that gentleman of light standing tall and triumphant that day, it moved me to the depths of my soul, like... I vowed to put aside my sketchy past and sail the Rome just like my hero Master Hildebrand. The Sultan sworn were impressed with my commitment and my sword arm, and they gladly welcomed me into their ranks. Wait, don't tell me. You've come to assist Master Hildebrand in his investigation, haven't you? Cool, why didn't you say so sooner? It's the least I could do to help the mates who united me with my role model. You'll be wanting to speak with Captain Phyllis. She's one of the sworn's best, and something of a history buff it seemed. When she heard the thief was targeting the 4 relics of Valadia, she personally stepped forward and volunteered to lead the investigation. If anyone has the information you're looking for, it'd be her. Wait here while I get her. I can trust you to not touch anything, aye? Perhaps. Well, it's nice to see that you cleaned up your act. Hello there, Captain Phyllis. A pleasure to meet you, Captain Phyllis. My name is Ellie from Mytholai. As you may have heard, we're researching the Phantom Thief case and would appreciate any information that may shed light on recent events. The pleasure is mine, Miss Ellie, and if I'm not mistaken, that will make your companion friend here one EDSS, yes? Yeah, that would be me. You know Edie? As any regular reader of the Mytholai would, I must confess to being something of an unabashed fan of your work. Though it hardly befits my station to say this, I was secretly hoping that you would show up to assist in the investigation. Doubtless the Inspector too will also welcome a helping hand. Yeah, we haven't seen him yet. Yeah, the Inspector we're getting is Briarden. The Sultan sworn, the elite of Ulda's elite. I can only hope they prove more competent than the bungling mercenaries I've dealt with thus far. Inspector Briarden, always one step ahead of us. As usual. Miss Ellie, Edie, a moment if you would. Right there. Very good. Now face me and don't move an ilm. What are you getting at here, Briarden? What's going on? Inspector, what is that in your... Yeah, like, what did you do to her? What did you do to us? Demasking dust. A formula of manual devising that will allow us to see right through the thief's disguises. Analyzing the mask left behind the Vesper Bay, I was able to identify its composition and synthesize a counteragent that would dissolve the disguise whilst leaving the wearer's face intact. In any event, it would appear the two of you are indeed who you appear to be. Well, duh. Brilliant, Inspector! The Phantom Thieves pulled the wool over our eyes for the last time! I fear it won't be so simple. The ingredients necessary to produce the dust are exceedingly rare. Even with the entire resources of the Sultan Swan at our disposal, we were only able to produce limited supply. I guess we better make it count. I see. Well, I suppose it's better than nothing. That said, have you been able to identify the thief's next target? A hidden treasure of Uldar? The last of the lost 4 relics of Belladia? I fear not. I poured through the stories time and time again, but only mention of these 4 relics is a vague reference in an old prophecy. Most serious scholars consider it little more than a fairy tale. Not if the Phantom Thief is getting them all. When darkness falls, and hope fades to despair, 4 warriors born of light shall descend in the righteous glare. The legend goes on to describe 4 sacred artifacts, one each possessed by these 4 Belladian heroes, but makes no mention as to their appearance or nature. 3 times we have tried to identify the thief's target, and 3 times has he foiled us by making off with something else entirely. Needless speculation will only play to the fiend's strengths. All artifacts of Belladian origin have been sealed within the royal vault, and a regiment of our finest assigned to its protection. I have furnished all the guards with a supply of demasking dust, and instructed them to be on the lookout for any suspicious personages. The Black Guard will be in chains before he can lay a dirty hand on the vault-capped doors, let alone the treasures within. You have our word, Captain. Well, let's hope that you do your job. And for that matter, why are you walking away? Shouldn't we be using demasking dust on him if he's walking out on us? But there are even more disturbing matters at hand. Doubtless you have already heard of the recent rash of murders perpetrated by our quarry. The Sultan Swan have lost an investigation, but the truth of the matter is that we have been far too occupied with the defense of the vaults to make any meaningful progress. We would be most grateful for any assistance you could offer. A lady asks, and a gentleman answers. Yep, guess who? That music can only mean one thing. There's our man. There's the man himself. Hey there, Hildebrand. Cast all your worry from your heart, my lady. Hildebrand, Agent of Inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has arrived to set right what is wrong and bring the wicked to justice. And this must be the masking dust that is the talk of the palace. Ah, but you need not waste your supply on me, Inspector. I assure you that I am exactly who I claim to be. You can't take any chances, right? It's a shame that... Inspector Hildebrand, we were not expecting you, but your services are most welcome. I will share all I know about the recent murders. Well, spill it. Get it all out, spill the beans. The killer has claimed 3 victims thus far. The head of a publishing consortium, a high-ranking government official, and an influential scholar. Other than that, they were all influential figures in their respective circles. We can identify no common threads connecting the 3. Oh-ho, this will prove a most satisfying case to crack indeed. And what of the method of killing? Conked over the head with a cudgel? Gutted with a great sword? Strangled with a sublagger, mayhap? I'm afraid that we've identified no pattern. In any event, the murderer plots the deaths of 2 more even as we speak. We must take action and quickly. Understood, my lady. Clues may be scarce, but worry not. My realm-renowned powers of deduction are more than up to the task. I will see this burglar turned butcher delivered to justice. Your presence is heartening indeed, Inspector Hildebrand. Friends, please take this demasking dust with you. I fear we can spare but a single sachet, but I trust you will put it to good use. And so, now that we've taken care of that, let's go and speak with Inspector Hildebrand now that he's arrived. Come to accompany me on yet another case, friend. I like your gusto, but if you're destined to be my assistant, I fear that role has been filled most ably. By Nashu, of course. Still, a gentleman welcomes the support of all his admirers. I shall henceforth name you thus, lady, my ever-loyal associate. And now, my ever-loyal associate, the investigation calls. I propose that we begin by inspecting the site at which the most recent victim met his demise. My questioning about the palace has revealed that the scholar's body was not far from the 80 sins of Sasimo. Even the most circumspect of criminals cannot help but leave behind clues. Clues that will not elude my gaze. Friends, let us be off. Pray alert me should you see anyone suspicious, my ever-loyal associate. We must put Miss Phyllis's demasking dust to good use. And away we go. So the fastest way to get out there is to use the, I believe it's the Gate of the Sultana. Because I believe that is the one that takes us out into where the 80 Sins of Sasimo are. Because it's a territory that's basically, yeah, I was right. It's basically a little small territory, this set of stairs that is right adjacent to the entrance to Ul'dah from the west. So yeah, here's Inspector Hildebrand. And I don't know why Briarden is with us. Usually he's doing his own thing as far as getting the deed done. So, Inspector Hildebrand, let's speak with you. See what you may have in mind. Flowers? Uh-oh. Flowers. Yes, it is all becoming clear now. A phantom killer is a florist who in his hurry to escape carelessly mislaid his wares. Just what do you think you're doing? I'm the one who put those flowers there, to honor the memory of me poor boy. You dare defile his memory? 1,000 pardons, my lady. Please accept my most sincere condolences on your loss. I am Hildibrand, agent of inquiry and inspector extraordinaire. I swear to you on my own dear mother's name that your son's killer will be brought to justice. Unless he already has been brought to justice. As I was just saying, these flowers are clearly placed here by the family of the deceased, which can only mean... Leave this place! Run away while you still can! Run far, far away! Or he'll turn you into a zombie just like my poor, poor boy! Well, that's... A living person turned into a zombie? Nonsense! Not nonsense, my boy. History! Or have you not heard of the horrors of Sil'dih? I, Uldah's sibling nation, against which we waged war centuries ago. Much blood was shed by both sides, aye, but I speak of far greater horrors than death. An unholy broth brewed by a Sil'dih alchemist, one with the power to turn the living to the undead, that his nation might command an army of mindless, deathless soldiers, the traitors spurn. They turned my poor boy into a heap of rotting flesh and ran him through, but you won't hear that from the Sultan's sworn. All alone knows why, but they whisked the body away before I could so much as pay me last respects. The traitors spurn? I've heard the stories, but I never thought them true. To be able to procure such a frightening thing? Just who are we dealing with here? A Sil'dih, I'm sure of it, aye. Only a Sil'dih would know the recipe. But the last remnants of Sil'dih died 4 centuries ago, you say? Oh, they did. He calls himself the Phantom Thief, he does, but it did never occur to you that he might be an honest-to-God's phantom? I heard the tales my own great-great-grandma did about the 4 relics of Belladia and the powers they hold, the power to exact justice. A spectre of Sil'dih has returned to wreak vengeance on us. Well, woe unto us all. Have the 4 warriors aligned forsaken us? Well, one's standing in front of you. My dear boy, if only you become a traitor like your father, if only you kept your nose out of those history books and never so much breathed the accursed name of Sil'dih. But you did, and now we're doomed! Doomed! Yeah, she's definitely gone mad. Yeah, we have a lot to be worried about. Yeah, Hildebrand once again gonna try and think it over. That bleeding horse here somewhere. I can feel it in my follicles. So, who is that? The most potent helatonic the realm has ever seen. Aye, that it was. All for a fortnight before my flowing locks fell out all over again. And just as I was shutting up a lovely young lass of the quicksand, just to twist the knife in extra ilm. Motorbank, charlatan! I'll find that so-called inspector and his soy brand and pull every last strand I have from their bleeding skulls. Uh-oh. Is this our suspect? We may find out soon enough. Yeah, because now we're starting to see remnants of characters that we've seen before in the 4 previous Hildibrand mysteries. Humphrey and Eleazar being involved in the first of them. So let's speak with Inspector Hildebrand to take on the next challenge, entitled Sibling Strife. Hildebrand is onto something, or at least he thinks he is. Yeah, he always gets it wrong, doesn't he? It's all becoming clear to me now. That dear old woman's testimony has confirmed that which I had suspected from the start. Like a zombie picking away at her rotting flesh, Hildebrand, agent for inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has peeled away the foul scab of uncertainty to reveal the truth within. Which is likely not. Open your ears and feast your minds on the fruits of my flawless deduction. Ahem! Our phantom thief is a phantom indeed. A wayward spirit caught between the realm of the living and the dead for nigh on centuries, since meeting a tragic end on the battlefield. As such, a course of action is clear. We must placate this tortured soul, that it might abandon its vengeful vendetta and travel to the next life in peace. But what is the true nature of the spectre's grievances? Without this knowledge, we cannot hope to assuage its rancor. Let us begin our search of the Thaumaturge's Guild. Doubtless the tomes there contain a wealth of knowledge on the ill blood between sibling nations. Notwithstanding the abject stupidity of everything else that came out of your mouth, some knowledge of Sil'dih might serve as well. Go research as you will, and do take as much time as you need. Oh, that was Briarden's line. Sorry. You can count on me, Inspector Briarden. Whatever knowledge is to be gleaned at the guild is in order to escape my inspector's eye. Oh, I believe it will. Alright. Then we will make our way back into Ul'dah. Yeah, I was not reading that, because, yeah, only Briarden would say those lines. Hildebrand would never say anything like that. I was not paying attention. But I'll need to be paying attention in a moment, because, yeah, we still have a mystery to solve. Alright, so we are actually close by to the Thaumaturge's Guild, so let's make our way south over to their guild. This is where you come to begin the training to get the enhanced warrior class, the Black Mage. So we need to gather information from 4 people, including Eneko, who we helped out on the hard version of the Sunken Temple of Karn. Gods be good, you're the adventurer who saved my brothers back in the ruins! Researching the ancient feud between Ul'dah and Sil'dih, are you? Well, I'm pleased to say I have more than a passing familiarity with ancient history. To understand the history of the sibling nations, one must go back further still, to the birth of their mother nation, Belladia. The 5th Astral Era was an age of untold wonders, when the arcane arts burgeoned and the great civilizations that commanded such powers flourished. This age of enlightenment would not last, however. Power bred avarice, and avarice bred resentment. It culminated in the War of the Magi, which brought great floods of the 6th Umbral Calamity, which in turn swallowed once proud nations and left a battered wasteland in its wake. Mages were reviled and persecuted for having caused this catastrophe, with many forced to leave their homelands or face death. It was a small band of those survivors that found their way to Thanalan, where they would found the nation of Belladia some 8 centuries agone. Ah, imagine a government of mages, by mages, and for mages! What wonders might have been wrought by Belladian civilization survived to this very day. Alas, this was not to be. Alright. Yeah, it's always good to meet up with people we've talked to before. Now let's speak with Yaya Roku, obviously a resident Black Mage, a resident Thaumaturge here. Greetings, traveler! You will learn of the war between Ul'dah and the fallen Sultanate of Sil'dih? It will be my pleasure to enlighten you. The 2 city-states coexisted for several generations until the bad blood between them boiled over, culminating in outright war. As you might deduce from the present state of affairs, Ul'dah emerged victorious, leaving its once proud sibling nation in smoldering ruins. As the histories tell it, the battles fought between the sister nations were the stuff of nightmares. In a desperate attempt to overcome Ul'dah's superior numbers, Sil'dih alchemists devised the most horrific stratagem. Employing a frightful formula known as the Traitor's Spurn, they brought their fallen warriors back as undead soldiers. Some theories have it that they were even employing the potion on those of the living who were too weak or wounded to fight. Sends shivers up the spine just thinking about it, no? It is truly a crowning glory of our fair nation that our forebears were able to emerge victorious against these horrors. Who else can give us information? Well, how about Erasmus? You don't say. It's not every day someone comes to our halls to research Sil'dih. As a fellow student of history, though, I'm more than welcome to conversation. Palladian civilization flourished in relative peace until twin sons were born to the royal family. The two were fierce rivals, and when they came of age and their father passed, each one claimed that he was the rightful heir to the throne. With neither son willing to relinquish his claim, they agreed to split their kingdom in two, forming the twin nations of Ul'dah and Sil'dih. But not unlike the two proud princes, the sibling nations developed a penchant for rivalry. And so, one more person to give us information. Who will it be? How about the Guildmaster of the Thaumaturge's Guild, Mr. Kokobuki? Hello there, sir.
What's that you say? You seek knowledge of the bad blood between Ul'dah and Sil'dih? I suppose I can spare a moment or two, but take good notes, I'm not fond of repeating myself. 2 scales, one of gold and one of silver. The gold of Ul'dah weighing prosperity and power, the silver of Sil'dih weighing knowledge and power. But the power sought by the two nations differed greatly, yes, greatly indeed. The power wrought by Ul'dah in prosperity was that of justice and good, while the power wrought by Sultan knowledge was horrific beyond belief. The power to rip the living soul out of a man and render him a mindless killing machine. On this matter, the histories are clear, but riddle me this, my friend. Who writes the histories, and what does this say of the words written? Within, yes, truth can be elusive and fickle as the shifting sands. As one example, did you know that in the war against Sil'dih, Ul'dah and Amalja warriors fought side by side? Likely you did not, and neither did I until I encountered a fated passage in an ancient text buried deep in our archives. And yet in the histories read by the populace, you will see no mention of this most fascinating fact. Might it be that someone at some time deemed this particular truth less than convenient? But I have said enough already.
Yeah, it seems like Mr. Kokobuki may have given us the information that could turn this in our favor. Let's hope Inspector Hildebrand doesn't butcher it. My ever-loyal associate, tell me, what have you learned from your questioning of the scholars in these halls? Well, here's what we found out. Indeed, as it happens, I have learned much the same. Let us take a moment to review and allow my peerless powers of deduction to work their magic. Our war of success advanced the great civilization of Balladia, giving rise to the sibling nations of Ul'dah and Sil'dih. The two nations coexist for some generations, until ill blood boils over, culminating in outright war. Daunted by Ul'dah's superior military might, Sil'dih employs their advanced alchemical knowledge to horrific ends, transforming their own citizens, alive and dead, into a fearsome undead legion. Yes, I believe I have it. The facts at hand have led me to one unassailable conclusion. Our phantom thief is a descendant of doomed Sil'dih, who seeks vengeance against those who reduced his countrymen to slavering zombies. To pacify his soul and send him peacefully to the next world, there is but one course of action. We must find the Sil'dih statesman who conceived this dreadful stratagem and have him apologize to the thief in person for the suffering he has wrought. Yeah, you had it going there for a while, but all of a sudden you took a 180. And were you guys listening? A brilliant plan. Perhaps you'd like to go find yourself a shovel and dig this statesman out of his grave yourself? Leaving aside this nonsense of spirits and spectres, it appears increasingly likely that our quarry shares something to Sil'dih. His garish garb is no doubt meant to invoke the silver scales of the fallen Sultanate. This Sil'dih connection would also serve to explain the rare knowledge of Palladian relics our thief clearly possesses. But what of the murder victims? What common thread amongst them could have incurred the ire of our adversary?
A few people in town spoke of a man sighted calling upon the victims in the past few days. Those who saw him said he had a most frightened air about him.
Wait, yes, it's coming to me, of course. My keen investigator senses rang out with a voice loud and clear. This man as Ali speaks of just might know something.
You really should stop thinking so hard. You'd like to strain a brain muscle. Miss Ellie, who is this man and where might we find him? My sources identified the man as Guguria, a traveling merchant known to frequent Horizon. Shall we pay him a visit?
Sounds like a plan. And so let's go ahead and follow this plan. So, I will meet you guys over in Horizon next time, because that's in Western Finland, and that's going to require a bit of a trip. So, we'll leave things here, and next time we will continue on this mystery. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for watching the continuation of Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV, Our Run Reborn. And when I join you again, we will go over to Horizon and see what Guguria has to say as we continue to try and solve this final Hildebrand mystery. So until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novara Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.